Heya! It's Julia! Hey, welcome! Today she is going to show us how to make Russian dumplings called Vareniki.
I was born and raised in Russia, and in my early 20s, I moved to the States. When I first started my blog, the idea was to post Russian recipes because those were the ones I thought I was going to lose. And I was really worried my children will never eat Russian food or will never cook Russian food if I don't do that.
Vareniki are, because they're plural, and they're little pockets, literally pockets of pasta filled with whatever you like. The most common fillings are potatoes, flavored with fried onions, bacon, sometimes cheese, sometimes mushrooms. There is a sweet variety with cherries or blueberries.
So many fillings for this pocket food, which makes me think of this awesome project my friends in the States started called The World in a Pocket. It's about the various pocket foods in different cultures all around the world.
Don't actually put it in your pocket. Yeah, you'll ruin whatever you're wearing. Do not. But it is a little pocket of joy. Let's start cooking.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool.
Start by making the filling because it needs to cool. So we'll start by peeling and cutting the potatoes into chunks.
Boil the potatoes first, and then fry the bacon and onions, and then combine all three together.
But you've gotta let them cool before filling.
If the ingredients are hot, they're gonna melt our dough.
Chop your onion or shallot, whatever you have on hand.
Usually I would just use onions and I fry them up, but in the morning I checked and realized I ran out of onions, so there's half onion, half shallot here.
Chop up about 5 strips of bacon and fry them up.
What goes well with Vareniki?
Vodka. Vareniki are originally from Ukraine. They're eaten in Russia just as much, I think. It's not really like a health food, you know, as you can imagine. Russians don't really eat them like on a daily basis. You should know that. It's like a holiday thing that you eat once in a while. Indulge responsibly, my friends. Do not overeat Vareniki. I'm leaving the bacon fat in there because I want to use it to fry the onions.
Just get them soft and a little caramelized. Now check on your boiling potatoes. Are they super soft? If so, drain them and mash them up. Then add your crispy bacon and caramelized onion. Make sure to season with salt and pepper.
And make sure that you always taste it, because if it's bland, don't come back and tell me that. You've got salt, you've got all the power in your hands. Do not walk away from your food unless you taste it. So as you can see, the difference between this potato filling and let's say mashed potatoes is that it's quite thick and not very runny. We want it to be a bit pasty because we don't want them to be mushy inside. Recipe for the Vareniki dough is really simple. It's pretty much pasta dough. Traditionally people make it by hand, but I am a modern woman. I never do because there's just a huge amount of pain. So it's flour, water, and 1 egg and just a little bit of salt.
So first pulse together the flour and salt.
Pour water while the motor is running and 1 egg. Let the motor run until a dough forms.
Let it rest for about 15 minutes. Uncover your dough and divide it into quarters. We'll start by working with 1/4, so leave the rest in the bowl covered by a tea towel so it doesn't dry up.
And set it aside. Just use a regular cutter, like a biscuit cutter, and I make circles. Well, usually I would take the scraps and I would re-roll them again and probably would get probably 3 more out of them, but we're just gonna put them aside for now. But first I stretch them out just a little bit more. You kind of do want to stuff them quite a bit, otherwise you're just gonna taste a lot of dough and not a lot of filling.
Put the dough slightly off-centered, then fold the dough over it.
Into half moon shapes and pinch the edges. Done. They actually will stay together.
There are a couple ways to close them. That's one way.
So we're gonna do another one, and I'm gonna show you the fancy way of shaping them.
Let's check out her technique.
This is what you do, and then you fold, and then you have this part, and then you fold it again, and then you just keep going until you're done. It's basically like a little rope, and there you go.
That's beautiful.
She usually freezes the majority of what she makes because then they're an easy meal on evenings when you don't want to cook or you don't have time. Let's get our pot of salted boiling water ready and add the Vareniki.
So they'll sink to the bottom. Give them a quick stir right after so they're not sticking to the bottom. When they float to the surface, they're done.
While we wait for those to finish, let's put butter in a pan because we're gonna fry these babies.
I really wish that Russian food would become more known outside of Russia. It's really delicious, but it's really the essence of comfort food because really long winters, people sort of learned how to warm up really quickly and deliver the best flavors in the simplest way possible.
On the side, we'll serve it with sour cream, or she says she uses creme fraiche because it's more similar to Russian sour cream, and some fresh dill.
Dill is necessary. Don't forget that.
Get the dill.
Get the dill.
Oh yeah, they're looking nice and golden. Now let's plate up. I'm so excited to eat this. This is comfort food like whoa.
What's the difference between a Ukrainian or Russian Vareniki and a Polish pierogi?
I don't really think there's much difference except for in the filling. It's very regional and also depends. So if you go more Western Ukraine, it would be more similar to Poland. If you go more Eastern and Southern Ukraine, it would be slightly different. I think I like with bacon, but also with mushrooms. I'm really big. Mushrooms are a huge part of Russian cuisine.
Really?
Like, oh my gosh, like 40% of Russian food is with mushrooms.
No way. And Julia, tell these fine folks what not to forget.
Oh, keep it quirky, always. This was the first dish I made for my parents-in-law. So, I know, my parents-in-law were so impressed. I think they fell in love with me just because of that. I think after that it was smooth sailing. There's nothing I could do wrong, seriously.